Boom. All right, we're live. Hopefully OBS didn't. I think OBS is fine. But hey, welcome. Another episode of the BCS Sports Show.
Whoa.
We're back. It's been a couple weeks. All right. So we got a lot of NBA stuff. Do we want to hit NBA Finals first, or do we want to do Kevin Durant first?
We can do the news first and kind of work our way up to it, I suppose.
All right, the news, yeah.
By the way, shout out to Bryce.
So who are
his best Moist Critical impression with the white T-shirt?
Oh, that's pretty good. He just needs to grow his hair out, yeah.
I don't think he has the hair to do that anymore.
Damn.
I could
That's
grow my hair
cold-blooded.
out recently.
To be fair, he had longish hair when he was in high school, and it was it was really, I don't think it was a very odd time.
The only time I had long hair wasn't in high school. It was eighth grade, I think. And I was trying to grow my hair out, and it just never it
never dropped.
It stuck to my head, yeah.
It never dropped, yeah.
So, anyways.
Yeah.
Now it's the fade.
Hell yeah. So Kevin Durant.
This is the look that is easy to manage. It's Kevin Durant. So the Miami Heat, San Antonio Spurs, and Houston Rockets are his preferred destination.
So it sounds
Do you
like.
think a team like the Lakers or the Nuggets still tries to say, "Hey, wait,
Yeah, well,
hey, wait, maybe you come here, maybe you make us a championship contender." I mean, here's my thing as a Lakers fan personally, because the Shams tweet reads as like that's who he'll sign extensions with, but isn't he in his late 30s anyways?
that is what I was about to say. Yes,
So
he
like,
is
why do
already
I care
36.
If he's signing a long-term extension, like if I'm the Lakers, for example, because obviously that's the team I'd be interested in. If I'm the Lakers, I'm sitting here going, well, we don't need you to sign a long-term extension. We just want to show Luka that we're serious about keeping him.
Right. Like if you're like the Nuggets or the Lakers or even some other teams, you're just trying to win now.
Capitalize. Yeah, you're trying to capitalize on a quickly closing window if you can't, open it. And
Right.
that's like what the Lakers are trying to do right now is just show Luka like they're serious about like putting winning products behind him.
Yep.
And so if you feel like KD does that, like who cares if he's gonna sign an extension? Just bring that in and then show Luka like, hey, we won a championship this year, so here you got your championship, and then and then you're able to take that and sign other guys, and because if you can get Luka to sign long term, then you can finally tell these other guys like, look, we get why you didn't want to play with Kobe all those years ago and why it was so hard to sign guys to play with him. We get why you guys didn't want to sign with LeBron for similar reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, because I think from what I've heard from what people seem to say, it's like LeBron. There's a lot of people that are like they don't want to play with LeBron for either the reason of like they just can't commit to that same intensity he has, or because they don't want their legacy to be LeBron's sidekick. Like Kyrie, for example, left LeBron because he was like, I don't want to be known as the guy who helped LeBron win. I want to be known as a winner.
Right. He wants to be Kyrie Irving and not Robin to LeBron's Batman. Yeah.
It was the same thing. Kobe. Everybody wants to be what Kobe was after Shaq left.
Yep.
Because Kobe's legacy up to that point was he was the Robin to Shaq's Batman.
Yep.
But then he was able to show, even when he was alone before he had Powell, that he was a big, like he was
the guy.
Deal. Yeah, he was a guy all by himself.
Yep. No, I agree. I think that Kevin Durant story is funny just because he's 36 and he has 1 year left on his contract. Like, no other team is really looking to sign a long-term extension. He has like 2 or 3 years left anyway.
Give him like a 3-year deal. Like that's all I care about.
Well,
if he doesn't want to sign that, cool.
Fine.
You won the championship 1 year with the Lakers and then decided to peace out. Like, I'm fine with that. Like,
And the thing is like you could then sign and trade him and get at least something back after his contract expires. So like it's not like you're just losing Kevin Durant for nothing after. Like the Nuggets, for example, trade Michael Porter Jr., get Kevin Durant, have him for a year, and then after a year sign and trade him to the Rockets or the Spurs or whatever and recoup some of those assets. Like that whole those are the three teams long-term extension. Like I don't think any team really cares. He's a rental anyway at this point in his career. Like so
He's a filthy ring chaser.
he is. And you know what? Good for him. Ring chase. I love that. Do it. But it's
He'll never have a ring in my personal record book.
I don't know, man. He was still really good on those Warriors.
I'll give it. I was gonna say
He was still the second best player on those teams.
Honestly, I was gonna say I think he helped the Warriors have just a little bit longer of a dynasty.
He did, yeah. I think their dynasty.
I think that Warriors team was already starting to show some wear, and by him joining, it was unfair at the time. I mean, I still like to this day. I'm like, why weren't the owners complain? Like, I still to this day. I didn't tweet it. I probably posted it to Facebook. But I still what I posted after that was to this day was like, why were the owners complaining about the Lakers getting Chris Paul? Back when they complained about that and were up in arms about that, but they're not complaining like this. It was not even a comparable thing. Like Kevin Durant was at the time either one. He was probably 1B. In terms of best players in the league, it was 1A was LeBron, 1B was Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Because like I mean, by that point in LeBron's career, he was 1B. It was not second best. I don't think. I think it was 1A, 1B. And so when the Lakers traded for Chris Paul and had that trade all approved, it was what's it called? It was not that big of a deal. Like Chris Paul was probably at the time maybe the best point guard in the league, and he's one of the best point guards of all time, right? But like,
yeah,
it wasn't that big of a deal as compared to Kevin Durant going to the Warriors.
The thing is, the difference though is the league owned the Hornets at the time.
No, I know. Well, no, yeah.
Like that's like the big
power. No, and that's not. My complaint isn't that the league shouldn't have. Well, okay. I do complain about that a little because there's almost no owner in the league. Like any good owner in the league would not have. They would not have vetoed that trade. There's no good owner in the league that would have said, no, that trade should be
interesting. I'd have to see what
that
trade was, but yeah, I mean, regardless.
I remember at the time when the NBA took over. For the when the NBA took over for the Hornet or the Hornets or
it was the Hornets.
It was the Hornets, yeah.
Yeah. So when they took over the Hornets, they made like a vow that the GM would have full control. Like they were like, it wouldn't be fair if we were to like be stepping in on anything because that would be viewed as like a bias or whatever.
Right.
And then they were like, nah, never mind. Let's do it anyways.
They kept whining about like competitiveness, and it was like the Lakers trade was way more competitive than what they ended up getting.
The trade that was, I mean, now obviously
when he went to the Clippers, it was
obviously you see the after effects a little bit of like how Lamar Odom ended up turning out at the end of his career, but like
the first move was to sign Lamar Odom, who was on crack.
But
shout out Stephen A. Smith playing solitaire at a basketball game.
Hell yeah, Stephen A. Doing your job.
But yeah, but anyway, so that was the whole thing. Like, I still to this day, I'm like, how are you not? I mean, like, I know that the league had no power to stop, but how are owners not like up in arms at the time, going, "This isn't fair that he gets to go there. Like, we need to fix this somehow." Like,
you're from LA. Like, you should know why no one gives a crap that they goes to the Clippers.
That is true. No,
we're talking about we're talking about when he went to the Warriors. Like the rich got richer on that one. It was just like, I don't know. Anyways, I still I don't mind. Like it was completely within everybody's rights on both accounts, but it was still just like kind of crap that like the owners were like, oh, that one's fine. It's not the Lakers.
Well, that one was a free agent signing though. That's the thing. Is
I know,
like
but,
Durant was a free agent signing, whereas a trade is a little
It
different.
was a trade, and it was a decently fair trade considering the Lakers had to give up Powell and Lamar Odom
That's part of
in
it.
order
Yeah.
to get in order to get Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Like it was a whole like there was a whole bunch of stuff that was gonna go good for everybody in that trade.
Both.
Yeah, it was Powell and Lamar, and then
I forgot about
The
that.
Hornets were getting Odom, Kevin Martin, Luis Scola, and Goran Dragic plus draft
they would have
picks.
gotten way more.
That is a bit better than
in
what
the
they
original
got.
Trade than what they got.
Yeah, they ended up getting.
The
Yeah,
NBA, well, that was. I remember at the time when they allowed the trade to the Clippers. I was like, what are we doing? Okay, now you're being too like to say and to for David Stern to still have the gall.
yeah.
To still have the gall to say, no, it was definitely for basketball reasons to this day. Well, you got a worse trade when you allowed him to go to the Clippers. You got the worst end of the deal. So don't tell me, because if it was about basketball reasons, then as soon as that Clippers trade got proposed by the GM, you should have gone in and gone, no, we need more. Like, you can't. Anyway, I to this day, I am still indignant about that trade, as you can tell.
I can. Yeah. No, it's a bit of a sore spot, but that's fine. I get it. That
was just complete and utter like turkey. Anyways.
Yeah.
But so I mean, I honestly, I will say this: I don't really think I care if the Lakers get Kevin Durant or not. It would be kind of cool.
I don't think he really helps where the Lakers need to help.
Luka,
so.
But like, I honestly am more concerned if they get like Walker Kessler or some other really good big, like, and all they really need.
That's what they need is a center.
Is a really good big, and maybe trade away enough pieces to bring in like just a couple of guys who are maybe not as like if you trade Austin Reeves away, or like if you whoever you have left, like Austin Reeves, Dalton Connect, whoever you still have left on your roster, maybe trade them away for two solid pieces rather than one very good piece, if that makes sense.
Right, yeah.
Like
I'll take one Lauri Markkanen, please.
One lightly used Lauri Markkanen.
I still like the trade proposal I brought up a few weeks ago where it was like Lakers, Pistons, Jazz, Lakers give up a draft pick and Connect and Reeves to the Lakers give up Reeves and Connect to the Pistons, give the draft pick to the Jazz, the Pistons give a few draft picks to the Jazz, and then the Lakers get Markkanen and Walker Kessler. But from what I've heard, the Jazz are not willing to trade Lauri Markkanen. They're willing to trade.
That's interesting. It seems like they should.
Not
like, why would they want to keep Markkanen at this point? Like, they suck. He's already 27.
They're hoping that they can swing like a deal, like a last like enough pieces. Because if you give him up, you're just saying like, okay, we're not going to be good for 5 or 6 or 7 years,
right? Which will be true.
You're hoping that you can swing some of these draft pieces, or that maybe who knows what's going to happen in the draft? Because what if VJ Edgecombe or what's the guy Trey Alexander?
I think so.
No,
yeah, Trey Alexander sounds right.
Trey Johnson? Is that what it is? Trey Johnson.
I have no idea.
I think he's one of the ones. NBA mock draft. Let's see. Hold on. It's one of those two that it's like if that falls to them, they could have a guy like a really good like Trey Johnson. That's what it is. Trey Johnson. Yeah, if you're Utah and you can get Trey Johnson or VJ Edgecombe, like that could end up being like a huge like that, because we're all sure Cooper Flagg's going to be the best, and he probably will be. But after that, like Dylan Harper's another likely going to be really good. But like, I think 2 through 5, it's like you're going to get a guy who has a very high ceiling, but not necessarily as NBA ready as Cooper Flagg.
Right.
And so, but that's what I'm saying. So, like, I think that's what the Jazz are hoping is like maybe like if they can either make the right draft pick or if they can maybe convince a team to take like the right kind of trade and flip a couple moves, and all of a sudden you're a very good, very deep team. Because the Jazz are literally, I think, a good piece or two away from being a very good team. I think if you put a star on that team, they would be very good. They've got a lot of depth.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with. No, I do not.
I think they've got a lot of guys. Look, the Jazz were not bad. The Jazz were not bad this year because they were bad this year. The Jazz were bad this year. I'm not a Jazz fan. They were a bad team this year because they tried to be a bad team this year.
No, and
I love the sense of they were bad because they tried.
They tried to be bad, but I mean, their best players are Lauri Markkanen, who is okay, Colin Sexton, who's okay, and then Walker Kessler. Then an aging Jordan Clarkson. Like,
I'll slightly use Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah, John Collins.
Yeah. John Collins is not good. He's bounced around way too much to be good. Like.
And John Collins, he'd be a great back. He'd be a great center.
He's a backup player. Like, there's a reason that he has a lot of stats.
But that's what I'm talking about though. Is like they've got some guys, not a lot of guys who are really good.
Yeah,
I'm saying like they've got a lot of depth. I think honestly the thing in the NBA right now is like what you're seeing with the Pacers and the more so the Pacers. But also the Thunder, more so the Pacers than the Thunder, is just a lot of depth. They've got a lot. They've got why is his name slipping right now? The overrated guy, the guy that everybody said was overrated.
Halliburton.
They've got Halliburton, who's been very, very good this year. And then they've got just a lot of good to very good pieces.
Right. Yeah. No, they go like 9 to 10 deep.
What I'm saying is, I think the Jazz have guys that have shown that they have the potential to be good to decent pieces, and can be like with the right signing or two, they could be a decent playoff team.
Gotcha.
Now, here's the thing. I don't think that's the thing that I keep asking Jazz fans on Twitter. Do you want to just be a very good playoff team? Do you want to be Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert part 2 again? Like, you're not winning the finals with that. And that's like every time I see Jazz fans complain, like I've talked about this a couple times recently, but every time I see them complain, like, we shouldn't have given up on Mitchell and Gobert. They weren't going to play together.
They hated each other.
They were still playing together. Even if they were still playing together, and you still had what's his name? The guy who's playing point guard. He was playing in the conference finals, I think. I think he's on the Timberwolves. What's his name?
Mike
Conley.
Yeah.
Even if you still had Mike Conley and like a couple of those like really good pieces you had, or like really good pieces, like pieces that could help a lot. I don't think that team would have won a finals this year. They would not have made a run to the finals this year. They wouldn't. I don't even think they would have made it past the conference semis.
Agreed. And that's the thing is like, even
if you were carrying that same team, you're not like, just because they both looked good on their respective teams, they also had lots of other pieces that were helping them, like pieces that were better than what you had. Like, so anyways, I'm just like, what the Jazz, because what the Jazz ownership and what Danny Ainge is clearly doing is they're trying to swing stuff until they can find the right pieces where it's like, we've got very good pieces that can take us to the finals, possibly. They're done trying to just be a playoff team. They want to be an NBA finals contender.
Right.
Which is hard. It's maybe you swing, but maybe you make that pick, that 5th pick, and you get a Jason Tatum like you got for the
right. And that's the thing is like, you need a top 10 player. Regardless, it doesn't matter how good the rest of your team is. You basically just need a top 10 player at this point. Like, I would argue Halliburton is probably the worst of the best players we've seen, and I would say he's probably like number 9 or 10 in the NBA at this point. So, like, the Jazz can have all the, they're gonna have to swing for a Giannis or, like you said, a Jason Tatum or something if they actually want to like cash in. But honestly, like, it may be a while before they have an opportunity to cash in. So
yeah.
All right, well, that does kind of like lead into the NBA Finals. Hey, Halliburton. He's good.
He's really good.
He's really good. Like
honestly, as a Lakers fan, I'm kind of like, yeah, let's let the Pacers get their finals. Like, the one year that they had like a really amazing team,
yeah,
the Lakers were just like, nope, we're winning this one.
yeah.
So
No,
I'm kind of like, I'm happy for you guys. Go out and win the finals. But I'm also kind of like, yeah, I wouldn't mind the Thunder winning the finals. Like, that wouldn't feel terrible to me.
I am
Maybe
a
it would
known
too,
Thunder's. I want the Thunder to win because, like I said, the next year apathy.
Yeah.
Whereas
You
if they
want
lose
the,
this year, they're gonna destroy the West even more than they did this year. So I'm
True.
on Team Thunder just for my own self interest. But I do love the Pacers. You know.
So this is really for me. This is like the best kind of finals you can get, where it's like
the best of both worlds.
either team wins, you're fine.
Right. Not like the Lakers or Celtics, where I'm like, ugh, gross.
The Lakers have to do with anything.
It's a gross.
And what
team.
did we do to
They're a
you?
bad team.
Except for
Bad
like
team.
blocking you guys from winning a lot of years.
Give your team back to
he's-
Minnesota.
He's lucky. He's
You
just
did
lucky that
ruin
we
me
didn't
in
know each other.
2008 or 2009. You
To be
guys.
fair, he's lucky we didn't know us back in 25 years ago when they played in the Western Conference Finals. Because there have been a lot of shit talking.
There would have. Yeah, it was sad times. Thanks, Anthony Carter. Trevor Ariza.
Although the best, I think the best bubble games were the Jazz Nuggets.
Yeah, because that
Those
was
games are
Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell just going mano-y-mano.
Yeah, just going
It was
fucking ham.
incredible. I think each of them had 2 50-point games in that series, which is like
Yeah, it was
it's
insane.
crazy. Bubble Murray was born, dude.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I admittedly have not watched a whole lot of this NBA Finals. Just watched some highlights, but
Same.
it's been
Same.
It looks like
what's
it's been
interesting
fun.
is the TV numbers have been decent.
They have. Yeah, well,
Like,
it's,
there's been
yeah.
worse finals, and everybody was worried that it was going to be like that it was going to
bad final.
confirm the NBA's worst fears, and then they were going to do everything they could to block small market teams from ever
Right. Well,
doing anything.
but it's
'cause
like,
bad for the.
hey, shocker, good basketball, good ratings. Like, no one wants to see finals where teams get blown out, even if it is like a big market. So, I mean, that's the reason. Like, I think.
Well, and that's what I do love about these two teams is they are like constant effort. This
Oh,
is not
1,000%.
like,
Yes.
both like every year's finals and conference final like that the conference finals which year was it? Was it last year? Where it was like they just traded blowouts. I think it was like the Western Conference Finals was it last year or the year before. I can't remember.
No, the year before was
the
the Nuggets sweep. Yeah. Last year was the Mavs and the Timberwolves.
No, it's the Mavs and Celtics.
Well, yeah, in the
No,
finals, but in the Western
we're
Conference
talking
finals.
Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
2020. Let me look. 2024 Western. I feel like that was the one that was. It was like, where it was like blowout.
Wasn't it the I would say it wasn't the Lakers one because Lakers got swept, right?
It was that was a sweep, right? It wasn't a gentleman's sweep, right?
It might have been a gentleman's sweep.
The Nuggets Lakers was a sweep.
Nuggets, like
That was our
was a
first
sweep
sweep in franchise history.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the only reason I remember it. Yeah, it looks like the games, the Timberwolves Mavs last year, those games were relatively close. It was the NBA finals were kind of blowouts
Was that
either
the
way
blowout
for the
to
most.
blowout?
Yeah, because it looks like the 3 of the 5 games were more than like 20 points ish. And then the other 2 was like 7, so that could be a lie in terms of how close it actually was. So, but yeah,
I did, all I remember is there was like a series where maybe it was like a second round series. I don't know, but I feel like there's been series where it's just like blowout, like but like teams were taking turns blowing each other out. I guess the finals it was a little bit of that because it was Celtics won the first one in a blowout, won the second one in a close game, third one in a close game. Davik Dallas Mavericks blew them out in game 4. Celtics blew them out in game 5.
It might have been, honestly, it might be the Nuggets Timberwolves series last year is the one you're thinking of. 5 of those games were blowouts, and it went 7.
And it was, but in that year, I remember that year, it felt like both teams were just kind of gaming it. Like, we're kind of like, all right, now you guys can beat us tonight. We're just going to kind of rest up our muscles a bit, like not run too hard and work for the next game sort of thing. Or it was, I feel like what happens in some of these finals, because like these finals have been, and the conference finals were fun in the sense of teams would be like down big, but they would not like count themselves out, and like they would either come close or would like come back and win it. Like there's been a couple of those big comebacks, and it's like that's more fun to watch than I think you're right. I think it was the Mavericks, or not the Mavericks, the Nuggets and Timberwolves last year, where there was just a lot of like the I don't know if it was from the coaching staff or it was from the players or whatever, where it was like they would go down by like a big amount and they were just kind of like, okay,
it's like we'll get them next game.
We'll try it next game. Might as well wait. And it's just like, no, this isn't fun to watch. Like you watch the first like 20 minutes and you're like, oh, the one team's up big, so that's it. Might as well just watch TV or whatever. Like there was no point in watching the rest of the game because teams weren't going to try. So anyways, I don't know. It's just, so I've really enjoyed the NBA Finals this year because both teams are like, you know what, this is our chance to like kind of make history. Like I think technically the what's I'm gonna call them? The didn't the Supersonics win an NBA Finals?
I don't think so.
They won one in like the 80s, I think.
Did they? I'm
pretty sure they did.
I thought the 80s were like Lakers Celtics for like.
Yes,
were, I think
1979.
There it is. Yeah, the Sonics snuck one in. Yeah.
So technically, it would not be the first finals in franchise history because they do carry the Thunder do carry the.
I don't think they do.
Don't they?
No, I'm pretty sure it stayed in Seattle.
They moved. They didn't.
I know they moved.
Like with the Coyotes when they moved the Coyotes, because the like the Utah Mammoth do not carry the history of the Arizona Coyotes.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that they consider the Thunder.
I don't think they do. I don't
think they carry it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the city of Seattle kept it because they knew that they were going to get a team.
Online it says, yes, the Oklahoma City Thunder technically owns the Seattle Supersonics history, including their championship trophy. When the Thunder purchased the Supersonics in 2006, they also became the owners of the team's history, as according to Sports Illustrated. However, the Thunder have acknowledged they won't be claiming the Sonics history as their own if a new team is brought back to Seattle.
Gotcha. Okay, so they'll revert it back.
Right now they own it. But if Seattle gets a team again,
when they get a team,
here's your trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, whenever they get a team back, like,
which it'll be in like the next 2 or 3 years, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
So. All right. Finals. Boom. Do you guys want to talk about the New York Knicks and Tom Thibodeau being fired because it's hilarious, and how the Knicks?
You mean the guy who plays his players for 45 minutes got fired?
There's that whole thing, but then also how the Knicks have gone about trying to replace him.
just trying to poach him.
I think they've passed like 6 or 7 teams in the NBA, and they've all said
even
no.
JJ Redick was like, they were like, "Did you guys interview JJ Redick?" They're like, "No." But there's even reports that he possibly was just like, no, I don't want to go to you guys.
Yeah.
I'm fine in LA. I got a good thing going.
Yeah. I love how they reached out to the Bulls and were like, hey, can we talk to Billy Donovan? And the Bulls were like, no. And Dallas.
I think this is one of the few times you'll ever hear me say this sentence.
Okay.
But I think Colin Cowherd had a good point about all this.
Wow. Okay, yeah. Sure.
Okay. I know we're just like,
hey.
Shocker.
Hey. Yeah, I used to listen to him. He's an idiot. What's he got?
So what he said was,
right. You just hate him.
What he said was that he said it was an extreme overreaction to losing in the conference finals, and he said, and the problem is by firing Thibodeau, you are literally firing the team culture.
I'm gonna push back on this.
All right, yeah.
I don't think Thibodeau's actually a good coach. Here's the thing with Thibodeau, and this is I don't know why we forget this like history, is when he was in Minnesota, right? He had Cat, Jimmy Butler, and Wiggins.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Butler rode them harder than Thibodeau ever could. And magically, Jimmy Butler gets away from Thibodeau and turns and, gets the team to the finals.
True. Yep.
Shockingly, we're not getting run into the goddamn ground. And Cat played with Tibbs. And apparently Cat was part of the reason why they wanted him gone. So if you want to and say, like, oh, it's culture. No, I don't think any player wants to be run into the ground for 45 minutes a game in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Well,
because you guys can't build a team.
I don't disagree with you. On the whole, what I meant by saying Colin Cowherd may have had a bit of a point is I think the problem is by overreaction is they were like, we lost, you're fired. What they should have done was have the GM go out and say, okay, we need a game plan. If we are going to fire him,
right,
we need to go X, Y, and Z. Right now they're floundering. Right now they're just like, oh, who wants to be the coach of the Knicks? It's New York City, guys. It's like,
well, the thing, at least the funny thing is like the Jason Kidd thing. I think made sense on paper because what the fuck is Dallas doing?
That's true. Yeah.
Like,
well, Cooper flag now though because the NBA fixed it. But yeah.
But I think I agree. I think that even Kidd was smart enough to go, no, you guys don't have enough of a direction for me to want to like come there. They need to sit down and like say like, what are we doing? Like what is our pathway forward? Because they clearly haven't done that, and they're just kind of going out and just like Kidd's not going to go out and be hired because they were casting their lines into 1,000 different places. Yeah. He wants them to have hired him because they were like, okay, we're firing Thibodeau because we're going to go out and get Jason Kidd. That's what Jason Kidd would want. But
the whole thing, but I don't know. I guess my thought is this might be the crazy take from my end. I think they look at what the Lakers did and think, well, maybe we can do that. Sort of thing. Where it's like,
dude, Tommy Alter, dude.
Where it's just like, I mean, why can't we do that? Like the Lakers basically pulled a name out of a hat, kind of thing.
To be fair, I think it was always. I mean, they had one guy in but that was the thing with the Lakers. They landed on Redick not because they didn't have a plan for who they wanted. It was just that their plan A failed. It was what's his?
I don't think Dan Hurley was their plan A. I don't think Dan.
And maybe not. Maybe I think that was always
I lean in towards it was the mutual I think it was a mutual like, hey, you want more money, we want to push Redick's hand a little bit. So let's make a whole thing of like, hey, we'll fly you out, we'll talk shop, and then you can get a better deal at UConn and we get our guy.
You think it was some collusion to
I don't think
both benefits,
I don't think the Lakers pull but that's what I'm saying. I don't think that the Lakers honestly pulled the name out of a hat. When they fired Ham, I think they had a plan. The Knicks right now,
I think they had a plan.
Well,
there you go. They can hire Darvin Ham. There's the
solution.
There's the solution. Darvin.
The solution.
We need to kidnap Jokic Ham.
Hell yeah.
Honestly, he'll take the job.
Honestly, Ham might be a slight upgrade over Thibodeau.
That's crazy talk right there.
Hey, here's the thing though. You'll win the in-season tournament.
Hell yeah. Championship to New York. Let's go.
Lakers winner of the inaugural in-season tournament.
They won it, and that every team that Darvin Ham has been on has won it because the Bucks won it this year, didn't they?
The Bucks did win it this year, yeah.
Darvin Ham is the key. You want to win a title? Get Darvin Ham.
What a legend, Darvin Ham.
It will be the title, but it'll be a title.
Yeah, there'll be a title.
Anyways,
that's for a thing that no one gives a shit about. We were talking about the final. Can I make a really weird segue?
Yeah,
really
let's
quick?
go. Yeah, let's do it.
So, you know how people were bitching about the floors for the NBA Finals because they didn't put the
They
Larry
didn't have
O'Brien
the
trophy on the
logo.
court on the
Yeah.
sticker. They superimposed it green screen, and people are upset about it because they put more effort into the course for the in-season tournament than the NBA Finals.
That is
which is
Didn't they
hilarious
also
to me.
but didn't they also get a lot of backlash over the in-season tournament courts?
they have, yeah, they're horrible.
I think
And that's
they're
I think
awful.
why they were like, let's try some stuff, but instead of
but-
using permanent solutions, we use digital solutions.
But here's the bit that I don't understand, and this is the one thing I'll agree with the people whining about it, is when they do that, when it's like the small, like, hey, we put like the Larry O'Brien like as a center court, and then like the finals like on the top and the trophy,
Right?
like
Yeah.
that's still minimalistic. Like it fits because it's the finals. But when it's like the in-season tournament, it's just they put down the special floor. I assume so people know, like, oh, you're watching an in-season tournament game.
Right. Yeah, that's why they do it. Yeah, I don't know.
The floors look dumb.
Most of them do. Yeah, they're an eyesore. They're horrific. But yeah, it's the NBA's attempt to make it new and different because they're like, hey, soccer has the Champions League and shit, you know.
Well, I know hockey superimposes all their shit, but they have
yeah, and superimposing, that's whatever. Like that's just part of sports now. Like as on the field, most of them aren't even there. They're all superimposed. Like you said, hockey does like, almost all of them.
Baseball,
you see a lot of like. Yeah, I was gonna say. I bet at baseball games where all you see is just green behind the home plate, and you're just like,
for a national, for national games, it's just a green screen that they have a loop that plays on it.
Yeah.
Whereas for home games, they have the
sponsors that pay them as money. Yeah.
The tiles that rotate automatically on there that are stuck to the thing.
Right. Do you think they didn't do it because they didn't expect the Pacers to get this far? Like they didn't. They don't have a Pacers floor that has the trophies.
Well, I mean, there's as
it's only it's those courts are put together in pieces, so they can easily
around
a piece. I can to answer your question. It's not like that. So I didn't know this till I worked doing it. They're just all those they're just giant stickers. So all
got you. It's not actually like in the wood.
It's not a different floor.
Okay.
So all it is so all
like
those
a giant
graphics you see are basically just giant stickers. So all they had to do was call. I'm sure they have to like they have a contract probably with like a graphic with a print shop.
Some company.
So all they had to do was just say, hey, we need 2. I don't know how big they are. Let's say 3x4, so 30 feet by 40 feet or whatever. Like, and then like 100 by and 10 by 9. Like printed out. The only thing is, I think they take a little bit time to install because, mind you, they're fucking huge. But you could they just put them on there, then they just squeegee them on there.
Gotcha.
You could do it in probably 4 hours.
So that is not the reason then.
I just don't think I don't think it was like, oh, they don't have the floor because, like I said,
I had always imagined
it's just stickers. They just have a guy come out and put a sticker on, and they just leave it on there because the boards are in pieces.
Yeah, I thought it was like a custom-made floor.
It's just a sticker. It's a laminate. It's a sticker with a lamination and like gloss on it.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
They put on there, and then someone just puts it on there, and I think either pull it off. They might just pull it off when they're done.
Gotcha.
Or they might have that section of floor and just keep it if they get back, but I think they just tear it off. I would assume because it's just laminate on there, like it's gonna get scuffed.
I mean, then that's even more reason why in the hell is it digitally imposed? Like the at least the finals logos. Like I understand ads, they rotate whatever, but like
but it's like when something doesn't take that long, they could do it like the day of if they really wanted to. It's not. The longest thing to take would probably be the printing because it would take a 10 by. I'm trying to think a 10 by 9, like couple hours. Like you could do it in 2 days as long as they had time.
Which they did. There was a big break before these finals.
Yeah, so I couldn't tell you, but I know it's like a day and a half project.
Gotcha.
Because we did my place I worked for had to do the sponsorship logos for the indoor soccer team in like the local indoor soccer team. We had to do all their sponsorships and it took like 3 days to do.
Oh, gotcha. Nice. Cool.
To print them out and laminate them.
All right.
That's how they do it.
Hell yeah. Hey, learn something new.
It's really not that exciting.
I mean, it's kind of cool. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? I don't know if there's the Panthers one, hockey's, whatever. Go Ice Cats.
3-2
I
game.
think we can say there's a couple things I have that we could talk about, but we could save them for another
Game 6
for a rainy day. Well, one
What
of
you
the
got?
one of the things is the new college football the settlement with the court case. It's supposed to but I don't think we need to talk about it tonight. But it's the it's supposed to it allows schools to pay the players directly.
Oh, interesting. Okay, cool. Rather
As
than
opposed to
and then there's a
like
clearing
boosters and stuff,
and there's
yeah.
a clearinghouse, and the clearinghouse now will approve NIL deals. And so it's supposed to make it so that way you don't just have, because like right now you have like these companies that are like, yeah, I'll just write a check because I love the school that I'm sponsoring or the school that I'm helping. Like it's an alumni or whatever. Who's like, yeah, I'll for what's his name, Manning, for Arch Manning. Yeah, I'll sign a $6 million check here.
Right. Yeah.
Hand it to him. Like this
Donut.
is for him being, we can use his image in our advertisements or whatever. And it's like they may or may not. And it's like, is that really worth $6 million? That's what these clearinghouses will do, is they'll say, is this
Well, good
Gotcha.
luck on that. 'cause it's harder-
that's the thing. In practice, it's gonna be really interesting, and that's why I think it'd be fun to talk about. But maybe it might be good if we like
It can be obnoxious.
studied up on it. And
Yeah, I was
talked
like,
about it
this is the
rather
first
than-
time hearing of this. I would like to read
That's
up on
gonna-
it before
That sounds
talk about
just
it.
on paper. That sounds very stupid because it's not a value of a sponsorship's not necessarily like
In the eye of the
It's like,
beholder,
I
basically.
agree. I agree. Yeah, I'm just explaining what they're doing from their perspective, not
I
me
have a funny
saying
suspicion.
I think this is great.
That sounds stupid and idiotic because it does like an inherent value of a contract doesn't
To
come
be fair,
from
it's
like
just
an
the
ROI.
NCAA trying to keep its last semblance of control.
No, I know it's
Yeah.
the whole. See,
Yeah.
But here, okay, this is what's funny to me because Travis Hunter did this. It's like if you stream, whether it's like on Kick or Twitch or you multi-stream on one of these platforms,
Mhm.
where it's like these guys, if they're known and they're good, they can make like $1,000 in a night on subs alone, just like on Kick.
Oh yeah,
Like, they
they're
can't,
making
like-
a
like,
disgusting amount
But
of
the
money.
whole thing is like they're going to be making disgusting amounts of money just by playing COD, like
Yeah.
on an off day, like if they.
Which
want
I mean,
Which
I
is good
do.
for
I
them.
will say this. Like just before, we'll have this conversation again in probably a couple weeks or whatever. But like as a real full-on conversation, I will say this. I like what they're trying to do because
I know.
whenever we discuss like NIL in terms of like before NIL was allowed, like before the NCAA said you can pay players kind of thing, or players should be played for the name, image, and likeness.
Mhm.
I always imagined it when I was thinking of the discussion of it being like, yeah, the players can go like whatever teams that they're normally going to go to anyway, or whatever. I mean, like,
Yeah,
even if it's just going, even if it does mean you're going places because you can get better advertising opportunities, like cool, that's whatever. But
Your
you were
fear
going to go
never
to these,
materialized.
you were going to go. Well, no, it's not a fear. It's what didn't happen.
Yeah, because the whole thing
Which
was,
is,
it's
I
what
thought
I
players
said.
are just going to go wherever,
No,
and
it's
you
what
could
I
base it. You could base it somewhat on NIL, and then you were going to say, but then these companies could say, hey, if you come be in our commercial, we'll pay you what we would pay a professional athlete or whatever.
But what ended up happening was what I said, where I said it's going to level the playing field because now the one thing teams can negotiate and try to get players is not only NIL money, but it's the idea of playing time, and that's what you've been seeing. I mean, granted, it was more so in basketball than football.
What I
but
would
you're
hope.
seeing a leveling of the playing field to where if they go to a big school and they're not getting time, I mean, hell, look at what Florida did with their quarterback situation. They sold Georgia's quarterback. They sold Carson Beck because his girlfriend is a Kavanaugh twin and she's in Miami. So he just said, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna follow her." It's a step down in competition, but
Yeah, what I hope happens is just that is just that instead of like blocking too very many NIL deals specifically, that they maybe more just have like because I think one thing that's missing, like in terms of like even like from professional to college, is there's not really a lot of contract. Like there's not like BYU benefited from the but what BYU benefited from was Rob Wright, who's a very good point guard, and he's going to be playing for BYU next year. He was playing for Baylor, and he had signed a contract with them, and then he just reneged on the contract and was just like, "Nah, I'm gonna go out and I hear I can make more money at other schools." And what I'm hoping is that there is a more like, because of how much money and things, and I think it ruins it for certain teams. Like if you're just like,
no
yeah,
offense.
you can leave whenever as long as the transfer portal's open.
No offense, and maybe because I think of it as work. If they're not meeting what you thought their end of the bargain was, I kind of don't give a shit. If they want to leave,
could you imagine in the NBA? Could you imagine in the NBA if
they do it in the NBA? They force trades all the time.
Okay, yes, but like,
what's the difference?
But because it would be so much easier for a team like the, whoever, like the, let's go back in time, and like, it would have been so much easier a year or two earlier for the Warriors to go and say, "Hey, Kevin Durant, you want to actually win a ring?
That's what happened.
How about you just no? He didn't get traded though. He didn't get traded. He signed a free agent deal.
There's no difference.
A year earlier, they could have gone. A year or two earlier, he could have just been like, "Hey guys, I know we had a contract and everything, but I'm just gonna go play for the Warriors now."
If he wanted,
but that's all that he would have had to do.
They do that anyway. They say, "I don't want to play here." He's doing it now.
But there's recourse now. For professional teams, there's recourse.
You have to trade assets.
You're forced to trade. At least these teams are getting assets back. College teams are not getting anything back.
And
it's a problem.
No, it's not. What?
Yes, it is. It is. Lots of schools are complaining about it. You can pretend like you don't think it's a problem, but it's a problem for schools.
I don't care, because the whole here's my 2 cents. You don't want players to leave? Then be better. Why does it? I don't understand why these, like a school like Baylor.
Because the problem is right now is they can't finance a team. They can't finance a full good team.
Mid-level teams. No.
They cannot finance a fully good team. Paying Rob Wright what BYU played Rob Wright.
This is what they do. These mid-level fucking Midwest middle bar teams are always gonna fucking whine and complain that, oh, we're getting the short end of the stick because, oh, the big school put out the check. That is what it's going to be for the rest of the time. Just learn to accept it. If Rob Wright wants to leave,
that's what I'm saying. The problem is
no. The
problem is that if you're signing a contract, the contract needs to mean something.
They're 17. It's null and void anyway. Even if they signed it, they can still. There is no recourse for them. All they can do is say they go back to the years prior, where they tell you if you transfer, you don't play that year.
There are still legal ways to sign contracts before you're 18.
Well, then make them more ironclad. Like that's what you can do. But
right now, there's no collective bargaining to make them ironclad. Like there is.
Well, there will be no collective bargaining.
That's what I'm saying. They need. Well, that's what this whole thing. That's what this whole thing is. Is it's supposed to be like a collective bargaining.
Well, no player should sign off on it. If anything, all they'll do is they'll go back to, if you transfer, you forego 1 year, which will slow it down and make.
Anyways, there's stuff that they need to do to fix it.
But I stand by it. These mid-market little borderline.
It's not just the mid-market teams. Georgia complained about it. Alabama complained about it.
I've lost guys. I've lost guys to it, but it's like, it's their right. Like, I'm not gonna. This whining and complaining from these schools where it's like we can't pay our talent is bullshit. They can pay the talent. They just don't want to pay that particular talent and then say, "Oh, the system's wrong because we can't keep our guy." I don't have any sympathy for that.
I do think that if you have a signed deal, there needs to be a point of like, all right, we've got a guy on the team, because otherwise you don't know what your next season's going to be like.
But they do that anyway. They sign letters of intent. Like
But that's the reason that professional sports right now is better than college sports in that way.
Because with that, so like it's a moot.
But that's why. But that's why college sports. That's why. Like, look, college sports are better than professional in a lot of ways. But in this way, it's not, because I don't know who's going to be on my. I don't know who's going to be on my team at any given point.
To be fair, I don't know who's on my team anyway half the time. Like, whatever.
I mean, to be fair, your team has been in flux because you guys have
Lincoln Riley's a dumbass.
Coaches over the past,
yeah, Lincoln Riley's an idiot and shouldn't be a head coach anywhere. But that's neither here nor there. I'll get into that in a couple months when I start hating.
Well, you can talk more about it when we're.
Yeah, we'll retouch on this topic.
Also, I hate Baylor. So.
Oh yeah, fuck Baylor. Agreed.
Our
look, and I brought up a point. Look, I want to say this though. I brought up a point of something that benefits a team that I like. So like, I'm not putting this out there because I'm like, this is bad for BYU. I'm putting this out there because I genuinely think this needs to be improved.
I don't. Because anything, if the NCAA gets their hands involved, you're gonna see it go from what it is to like you're gonna get 5 NIL deals and that's it. It's not going to be it. You're going to see it clamp down really hard, and I don't want that. I'd much rather it be the wild, wild goddamn West where Georgia's entire team's got an NIL deal to the fucking Waffle House the way God intended versus 3 fat linemen. Like, I want the NIL in and out USC deal. That's what I want to see.
Anyway. All right, well, I think that's probably a good place to stop. We'll be back in
2 touchdowns, get you a free double-double at USC football games this year.
Hell yeah.
That's what I want to see.
All right.
Bring back the double-double nights at baseball games, god damn it.
Speaking of baseball, I'm going to go out on this. The Rockies have the fewest win through 70 games since the 1899 Cleveland Spiders, making records. Let's go.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll be back.